My name is Ryan. I work with ACI Distributors, and I've had a few questions, mainly from parts guys, but from some customers dealing with their McHale balers, V6 series, whether they're V640, 660, 6740, 6750, V8940, V8950. They have some questions about parts identification, and today I'm going to take a quick walk around. I'm going to highlight some of the parts that are common, that people have common questions on, or that could be easily confused, and we'll just kind of do a quick walk around the baler to maybe dispel some of that confusion. To begin with, I'm going to start with identifying the main clutch. If you'll come under here, the main clutch of the baler is going to be right here. It's going to be under this housing, and it's a cam type clutch. Next thing up under here is you have your density block. This is your main density block that controls the density in the chamber. You have your moving roller and net knife solenoid, which is this round solenoid on the side. As you'll see later, it's the exact same solenoid that's found on the side of the baler on the knife block, and I'll identify those later. And this is your main density PMV valve. You have your emergency relief. This is where if the return on the baler is not hooked up correctly, this will dump oil in order to keep the baler from damaging itself. And while we're up under here, you have your two pressure gauges. They are both identical parts. One of them is off the pressure of the density block here. The other one runs to the net knife stretch motor, and we'll show you that in a second. The main safety, this is your lockout to lock the hydraulic rams for the tailgate, so that they won't come down while you're working under it. This is a pull-out knob, and it's one of those things that guys sometimes don't realize it's pull-out, and they'll break it trying to turn it like so. But you have to pull out and turn. The system will start up here on the platform. The main things to have to do with the net system are this is the rubber roller, and many of y'all probably had issues with or replaced. These are the roller bushings that the net knife swings on. This is what we would call your bill hook. It's got the red and white stripes, and this is one of the things that causes some guys the most issues, is making sure that this is moving properly. You need to know is under this cover here, there's 3 wing nuts. It has the diagram of how the net's supposed to be run. Under this cover is a moving roller, and you will hear many customers call about issues with moving rollers. One of the things, the way this is made to be taken off and you clean under it. We will talk more about the moving roller from the side of the baler in just a moment. Going through the net system, we have our drive pulley that runs the rubber roller, feeds the net. We have our net clutch. Very few problems with this. We have our moving roller. The moving roller is back inside here. That's the one that I was talking about that was under that cover that needs to be cleaned regularly. This roller here, this roller is made to move forward and back, and it's made to spin all the time. And on the older balers, there was what we call a gas strut, and you can look, there's a similar gas strut up here. On those older balers, when this gas strut would give up, this moving roller wouldn't move back and they wouldn't tie. So for the parts guys, having these gas struts in stock was very important. On the new balers, these gas struts have been replaced with a kit to install this spring. This spring system is available as a kit to update the older balers to the newer standards. The only thing is there has to be this pin. If you come back in here and if you'll look, there's a pin here. If the baler has this pin, it's capable of being updated with that new spring system. Another thing is the moving roller tension spring on some of the older balers. This spring here was considered really too light, and there were lots of hacks to make this stronger, but a few years ago they've replaced it with a heavier spring. That number is CSG 00340, and if you're having a customer that's having trouble tying or getting net to feed, oftentimes if this has not been updated, it's a common thing that needs to be done. On some of the older balers, they have the driving arrow sensors will be a sensor that's different up here. It'll go in the side of the baler. It's one of those sensors that's the only place it's found. They have been replaced on the newer balers with a pair of load cells that connect to the hooks on the doors. These load cells are pretty robust. They actually work really well. They do need to be calibrated at some point. If a customer starts to have problems with those driving arrows, there's a procedure for that. This is the cylinder that raises and lowers your tailgate. You have another cylinder that's back inside here that's your tension arm cylinder. This is what keeps the pressure on the bales and also keeps the belts tight when the door opens and shuts. Other things to know, we have our drop floor right here, and here you can see the sensors we use. You can come in and zoom in. These sensors are just little reed sensors, and those sensors are the same all over the baler. It's only got one M18 style of sensor. It's used everywhere. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about the pickup. Under these covers, you're going to find two chains. They're pickup chains. You're going to find the pickup clutch, which is a pin type clutch. And you will find 5 cam bearings, bolts, and lock nuts that hold them in under this cover. Those cam bearings, bolts, and nuts are part of the yearly or every 5,000 bale service. Turn it off. Quickly, going to talk about, this is your automatic oiler. This is the automatic oiler pump. This is the automatic greaser for the machines who have that equipped. This is your net motor for the net cutoff, net drop. This is the net pump, which manages your net stretch and break. This is a PMV valve that is associated with your net stretch pump. And this reservoir here holds just standard hydraulic oil. Okay, for further parts identification, I'm going to highlight, this is our main drive chain. This chain doesn't have a master link, so it's one that has to be bought for the machine. You have your starter roller chains that run down here. It's also a large drive chain, but it does have a master. And then you have your auger chains that are 60 head. Well, actually these are 12B. All right, going to the passenger side of the baler, we're going to go through some multiple systems. We'll start on this side. There's a drive chain. We have no other chains on this side other than the double duplex chain. This is a very important chain and must be kept tight. This is a chain that is often needs to be in stock. We have the second hydraulic block, which is our knife block. On this knife block, you have 3 solenoids that are identical and one that is different. If you look closely, this solenoid is slightly longer than these 3. This solenoid is basically always open, and when it's powered, it's closed. And these are always closed, and when it's powered, it's open. These 3 solenoids can be swapped with the one on the density block for the moving roller net knife. One last sensor I forgot to mention was the bale size sensor. It's located up near the hinge point of the baler tailgate. New balers have new style tailgate latch springs. They can be used on the older balers, but they must be replaced in pairs. You can't use a new style spring with an old style spring on the other side. You either need two of the new style springs or two of the old style springs.